Let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason. A lot of people want to talk about Kevin Stefanski in the offense.
You know, listening to people like Adam Breer talk about how Jimmy Haslam influenced Kevin Stefanski to fire Alex Van Pelt. If Alex Van Pelt was the perennial play caller that he was, and if he was the savior in our playoff game, why would Jimmy even try to interfere with firing him? He would have just told Kevin to give up play calling. So that's why I think that Kevin Stefanski fired Alex Van Pelt. And I believe that we need to have a more optimistic look on the offensive side of the ball. Deshaun said he wants to pass the ball. And you have to get people who know how to pass the ball. You have Ken Dorsey, who has experience with mobile quarterbacks and having a great passing offense. So we need to be more optimistic about this hire.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. Scott, I just don't know about the hire. I'm curious. And relative to Kevin Stefanski, it was Kevin Stefanski's ultimate call. Somebody else may have suggested it, but it wasn't somebody telling him, you have to get rid of this coach. I don't believe they would have done that after a playoff year.
I tend to agree with you, Dave. And I know there's a lot of people that wonder how the ownership and Paul DePodesta, how they operate, and are they pulling some strings? And, I would accept the idea that they have influence, right, and they make suggestions. But Kevin Stefanski's in charge of his staff, right? He's got final say. And if he didn't think it would be beneficial or that he could live with making a move at coordinator, and, I was told they offered Alex Van Pelt a different role. They tried to take away coordinator. He said no, and that's why he left. So, if Stefanski weren't down for that, then I think he could have, kind of drawn a line in the sand and said, no, we're going to keep this. We're coming off 11-6. We've got 2 playoffs in 4 years. Let me coach my staff. Let me have my staff. But I don't get the sense that that's how it went down. And again, I don't even think it's an indictment on AVP, right? People loved him. Kevin Stefanski just talked about how he loved him. I know the players loved him. I think they're just looking to take that next step and to switch things up enough and to add new voices, add new wrinkles that help Deshaun Watson succeed, right? And that's what it's all about, is maximizing Deshaun Watson. And there's probably a sense, whether it came from Stefanski or above him, that was not being done with the current staff.
Yeah, and if it was from above him, they have the right to tell him that, and then he can make the decision. And that's kind of, I think that's kind of the way you agree. That's the way I think it kind of went down. Hey, we're not quite doing what we need to do.
Yeah, they certainly have the right to suggest things. Now, I don't think it's ownership's. I don't think it's best for ownership. And Paul DePodesta's title's so vague. I mean, it's chief strategy officer, right? But is he best qualified to pick Kevin Stefanski's staff? I don't know that. I like the idea of Stefanski picking his staff. But if it's input from everybody, I have no problem with that. And I don't think Stefanski does either. I think he came into this situation knowing it was a collaboration between him, Andrew Berry, and Paul DePodesta.